And then, to slow down the boatyard projects even more, there was another tropical distraction. I bought a Venture 17 that was up in Haleiwa, and my sister and her clan dragged it down to the house at Malukai. The Malukai house is located at the south end of Kaneohe Bay on the windward side of Oahu. The bay is about 8 miles long and about 2.5 miles wide at the widest point, and it's protected by a fringing coral reef across the entrance, which keeps the water inside nice and calm. It's one of the most ideal sailing spots in the world. The house is the one in the center with all the green trees around it, and the forlorn-looking Hobie cat in front. There's a pier tucked away there in the mangrove trees. The big challenge with the Venture 17 was how to launch and recover it off the pier. For 50 years we had been supporting piers in Kaneohe Bay with stacks of bricks. This was not really adequate for 1,200 pounds of boat and trailer. The idea was that we would mount the trailer on the dock to be the launch and recovery mechanism, but first we needed stronger column supports for the pier. Kit and Mark and EO put a lot into this phase. So we took apart the old pier and piled the lumber up in the yard, and then had to trim away some of the mangrove roots that were under the pier. In Florida, it's probably not legal to do this to mangroves, but in Hawaii, mangrove is an invasive species, and the state actually pays money to organizations to clear out big groves of it.
Yeah, there you go. Wow.
Woo! That thing is heavy.
We needed 2 column supports right under the trailer wheels. Eventually we got roots and old bricks cleared out of the way, and then in came the rain. A little flash flooding, some road closures. We used 44-gallon plastic garbage cans with the bottoms cut out of them for concrete forms.
Yeah. Well, all the NPR.
We made a modest attempt to level the barrels as much as possible and also seal the bottoms so that the concrete wouldn't leak out. It became evident later that we could have spent maybe a little more effort on this. Some wood and concrete blocks to help hold them down. I also needed to modify the boat's rudder from a single-piece fixed rudder to a kick-up rudder. Kaneohe Bay is full of coral reefs, and the water is either 40 feet deep or 6 inches deep, and the change in depth is nearly vertical. I made some cheek blocks out of G10 and took a deep breath and cut the rudder in half and then shaped it to swing. My good friend Bill Leary from the Bora Bora trip was a great help in the geometry of the quarter-round cut and the location of the hinge puka. And then some more rain. A little flash flooding, some road closures. But eventually we had everything in place. 7 44-gallon drums, 3 stacks of bricks, and we're all set for the concrete. Thank you, Ha'aheo Construction. concrete equipment came with 9 guys, and every one of them was needed. The go-to technique for keeping the concrete from leaking out was to put your foot against the rim of the barrel. For the most part, things went well, but we did have trouble with the 2 middle drums.
Oh, wow. Came out all the way to over here. Just throw it. Thanks.
The concrete guys had a good technique of filling the drums only about 1/3 of the way and then moving on and letting them set up for 20 minutes or so to slow down the leaking. Then they'd come back and fill them another 1/3 and then move on and then finish the last 1/3 after that. Some of the drums sealed fine and had no leaking at all.
Yeah, this one's pretty good.
Eventually they were all filled up to the correct level, and there were just these 2 middle ones that required attention.
I'm scared to move my left foot. It's still oozing a little bit where my foot is. A little bit, yeah.
Everyone was such a great help with this project, and my nephew Dan really went above and beyond the call. Everyone else was cleaning up and moving on, and we were stuck out here holding our drums down and plugging leaks. There was talk of our Thanksgiving dinner being delivered out here. And then we got a little rain, some flash flooding and road closures, and a very large snail that came by for a visit. The concrete slowly set up. Notice the big footing on the leaky drum. That's a nice broad base. I'm really happy with the way this turned out. And then we got a little rain. The boat hunkered down under her cover. We did get in a couple of walks on Kailua Beach, and then it was time to go home already. We didn't get to go sailing, and we didn't even get the trailer mounted on the pier, but we'll be back in March to do that stuff. And the work that we did, I think, was really good. Meanwhile, after the concrete set for 5 days, Dan did a great job of putting the pier back together. Yeah, I know that old tire is still sitting there. It needs to go on a diet before being lifted. Notice the OSHA-approved Hawaiian construction footwear. The first use of the new pier is a drone flight deck.